Hello, everyone out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. And this movie here, we're gonna talk about. It's a big one here. I've never done a review like this before, but it's gonna be it's special. Okay, it's special because it's ongoing. Okay, so I decided if you remember my last video. I said that I was going to review, was The Devil Wears Prada, I think, because I'd never seen it before, and I know that that's one a lot of women have watched and stuff, whatever. But then I got to thinking, because, whenever you go on social media, they give you the news and they tell you what's going on. All right, there's a lot been going on. We got the LA fires, you got the damn plane crash, in Washington. All sorts of stuff is going on right now, okay? All sorts of exciting things, okay? You've got all the migrants getting arrested and deported. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, okay? And all of a sudden, this is one of those things, okay? Now, like I said, I gave you a straight man's point of view. That's what I'm going to do here. Okay, but a friend of mine recommended this movie. Okay, now I put it on my list. I was going to get around to it because I've heard about it. Okay, because of what we're going to talk about here. Okay, apparently this movie came out. Well, this movie did come out last year. It stars It Ends With Us. Okay, it stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Okay, now I knew who Blake Lively was. I'd never heard of Justin Baldoni, and the reason I've never heard of them is because I'm not fucking gay. Okay. And apparently he was on some chick shows, whatever, so women know who he is, but men don't really know who he is or care who he is. But he's there. Okay, I guess he owns a production company, and he's one of those guys, is born wealthy, he's a male model, and then he got into doing, because that's where all the chick show actors come from. They all start off as models, okay, and then they get hired for their looks, not their acting. That's why most of them don't make it, okay? But that's what he is. He's one of those guys. And Blake Lively, obviously, that is same thing. Only a female. She's also born wealthy from a family of actors. A family in the theater. In showbiz. So she's wealthy. Grew up in the rich part of California. That kind of thing. The parts that are under fire right now. Okay, so she grew up over there. Okay, her dad was an actor. Her brothers and sisters all actors. Okay. In fact, I actually know one of her sisters, one of Blake Lively's sisters, name is Robin Lively. Now, you probably don't know who that is because she hasn't done very much. She's not as successful as Blake is. But I remember Robin Lively because I saw Karate Kid Part 3. Because I'm a big fan of Karate Kid. I grew up watching those movies. And obviously, it's a hit show on Netflix right now. Cobra Kai is a very well-received show on Netflix. I'm a huge fan of Cobra Kai. If it's possible, they actually made the original Karate Kid movies better. The TV show Cobra Kai is better. The reboot is better than the original. How often does that happen? Unbelievable. And they did it without disrespecting the original, okay? And one of the characters from the Karate Kid trilogy, Karate Kid Part 3, it's a terrible movie. I'm the first one, but I love it. I love that movie. You got Thomas Ian Griffith. I mean, he just delved into his Snidely Whiplash, okay? He was just the evil, mustache-twirling bad guy. He was like that in the whole movie. Completely over-the-top performance. Unbelievable, okay? But I liked it, okay? I know the movie's not good, but I liked it, okay? The point I'm trying to make here is that all the Karate Kid movies have a love interest, and Karate Kid 3, the love interest was Robin Lively's character, okay? But nothing comes of it, okay? Because she's there for him to have a girl to talk to rescue, to give him advice, that kind of thing. And then right when you think that maybe a romance is going to blossom between these two, because Daniel LaRusso is single at the time, she puts him in the friend zone. And she tells him, hey, listen, I'm from Ohio. I'm not from LA, but, I'm moving back to Ohio, and I talked to my ex-boyfriend, and we're going to get back together. So there ain't nothing going to happen between you and me. And that happened halfway into the movie. So I was like, whoa. And that's one of the reasons I remembered it. Is I remember her character because she basically put him in the friend zone halfway into the movie. And I'd never really seen that before in a teen romance, where the love interest for the movie stops it in the middle and that's it. Then she leaves. She's out of the movie. We don't see her again. But the reason I'm bringing her up is because she did come back. And last year, she came, or no, 2 years ago, she came back and reprised her role from the original Karate Kid, Part 3, from Karate Kid Part 3. She came back. Okay, most of the actors have come back for Cobra Kai, in case the ones that are still alive. Okay, Pat Morita's obviously passed away a long time ago. But most of the characters from Karate Kid, from all 3 Karate Kid movies, have come back to reprise their roles in Cobra Kai. Okay, and Robin Lively was one of those characters. It turns out that her character actually was, but like I said, nothing happened between her and Daniel, but she's the one that introduced Daniel to her cousin, who ended up being Daniel's wife on Cobra Kai, and they have 2 kids. Okay, so because of that Karate Kid 3 character, Daniel met his future wife. Okay, so and that was Blake Lively's sister. All right, yes, I know, weird, huh? I know that was a long exposition about a minor thing, but that's where I remember. That's why I remember. I've actually seen Blake Lively's sister way before I knew who the hell Blake Lively was. Now, for those of you, you're probably a woman if you're watching this. You've probably seen her show, Gossip Girl. I've never watched one episode of Gossip Girl. I had no idea who the hell she was. She's just one of the many blonde, pretty actresses in Hollywood that just show up from time to time, that women know who they are, but men don't give 2 craps about. And that's what Blake Lively is to me. I didn't know who the hell she was. I didn't care. Okay, I just remember she had a mole on her face, boo, and she smiles a lot, you know, with her mole on her face, you know. I thought she was pretty, but she wasn't like, you know, I wouldn't go to war with Troy for her. Okay, but I thought she was pretty. She was attractive. Okay, but I didn't know who the hell she was. I didn't really care. Okay, but I did know who Ryan Reynolds was because, you know, obviously it's Ryan Reynolds. Okay, he was in Blade 3. Okay, he's Van Wilder, for Christ's sake. I mean, every guy knows who Van Wilder is. All right. Even if you've never seen the movie, you know who Van Wilder is. Okay, we've all seen Waiting. That movie about the waiters, okay, where he played the waiter that was, did the gooch, okay, at the restaurant. So we all know Ryan Reynolds is. Well, obviously Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are married, okay, but Blake Lively, from what I know about her, is, she's one of those girls, she got an easy road into Hollywood because of the connections from her family and all that. So her auditions went pretty well. She got the Gossip Girl, and then she started doing other things. Another thing that improved her social status, okay, her career, was she dated Leo DiCaprio for a long time. I think like 2 years or something. Leo DiCaprio, like Leonardo DiCaprio, when his girlfriend turns 26, he gets rid of him and gets a new girl. Okay, that's pretty much his strategy. Okay, and Blake Lively is one of the many. Okay, that's who she is. All right, so she dates guys, leaves them for a better guy, whatever. And because she was dating Leonardo DiCaprio, that increased her publicity. Because you have those photographers, TMZ and all that. They're out there with their cameras taking pictures of Leo DiCaprio and whatever hot girl he's with this weekend. And if it turns out it's someone who's also an actress, okay, it improves her Q score. So more people are looking at her. Casting directors look at this shit. Okay, you might not think they don't, but they do. Okay, the people that make decisions on who to put in a movie, especially when it's a new movie, okay, so they can't afford a movie star, they're going to try to get someone that the public knows about that they can get them for cheap. Okay, and when you're looking for a leading lady, you're like, okay, well, how am I gonna, well, Ben Affleck is gonna be in this movie, but we got to get a girl to play his love interest, but we can't afford Sandra Bullock. She's too expensive. So who can we get? Oh, wait a minute. What about that girl that's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio right now? I saw her. Isn't she like on a TV show or something? Yeah, we can get her real cheap. We'll get her. Okay, you see, that's how these decisions are made. That's exactly that's how pretty much every starlet in Hollywood that ends up getting a career is based on who they're fucking. Okay? Now, how are you going to get it? And now you can make the argument, well, how are you going to get an unknown to do a love scene with Ben Affleck? They're not going to have chemistry. Well, bitch, she's already fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay? So she's already proven that she can do chemistry with an A-list actor. Okay? She's already proven that. Okay? So, yes, we'll hire her. We can get her for cheap. Okay, she'll do it because she wants a high-profile job. She wants a high-profile movie because that's going to get a lot of eyeballs on her. And through that, her agent is going to be able to negotiate. If the movie's a success, her agent will be able to negotiate bigger and better deals for her. She's going to get a 3-picture deal, okay, which means that she's going to star in 3 big budget movies in a row. If even one of those movies does very well, guess what? It's going to get a sequel that's guaranteed income for her. She doesn't have to worry about if she gets a flop, if she gets 2 more flops in her future, because she had one success and they're going to hire her for the sequel. So she's guaranteed, so that she's part of a franchise now. She's a star of a franchise. That's how it works. It's exactly how it works, all right? And the reason I'm talking about these Hollywood politics is because that plays a big part of what we're going to talk about here in this movie, okay? A lot of the drama going on in this movie is not just in the movie itself. It's outside. It's behind the camera, okay? As most of you know, there is a scandal right now between Justin Baldoni, Justin Baldoni, sorry, I think Baldoni. Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. There's a scandal right now. There's some lawsuits going on back and forth. All this is playing out in real time. I mean, while I'm making these videos, some bombshell evidence could come up, and then I'm gonna have to talk about that while I'm in the process of making these videos. Okay, so things could change at any moment. Okay, and I'm gonna update you as best as I can. Okay, but yeah, this is going on like right now. Okay, and everyone in Hollywood's talking about it. Okay, we're this is Amber Heard. They call it Amber Heard 2.0. Okay, wow, yes. Okay, so we're going to get into that stuff. I have done some research because I knew I was going to do this movie, so I spent some time doing some research on exactly what's going on here. So I'll be informing you about the whole situation, okay, about the lawsuits, who started it, what they're being accused of, what the repercussions are going to be, depending on who wins this lawsuit, that kind of thing, all right? But it's a big freaking mess. Personally, I don't feel sorry for anyone involved in this mess. Okay, I think both of them are shallow people. Both parties are superficial. Both parties only care about themselves and what they can get out of it. Okay, there's no one here that's trying to do anything to help anybody else. It's just for themselves. Okay, their egos are hurt on both sides. Okay, and they want to play this out in the public sphere. Okay, because they're too immature to play it out privately. Okay, so I have no sympathy. I might have a little bit more sympathy for Justin Baldoni, but I gotta be honest with you. Okay, the more I learn about this guy, the more I don't like. Okay, and it's not because I think that he actually did harass Blake Lively. I don't think he did. But the things that I know about him, the image that he presents, the books that he's written for men, are contrary to what to what society needs. Okay, I think that these guys are stuck in DEI, both sides. They're stuck in Me Too. They're stuck in all that crap. Okay, they don't seem to realize that it's 2025. It's not 2022 anymore. All that shit's done. It had its day. It's been proven it doesn't work, but we still are dealing with remnants of that. Okay, and that's what's going on here. That's what's being played out here. Okay, and like I said, I don't have much sympathy for either party here, but I think eventually you will reap what you sow. Okay, and I think both of them are getting a big dose of that right now. And I can honestly say, hey, justice is served. Okay, because I really don't. I have no interest in proliferating the career of either one of them, to be honest with you. Okay, and I love Ryan Reynolds. Okay, a big fan of his. I have not watched everything he's done, but a lot of the stuff that I did watch, I enjoyed. Okay, I did watch Green Lantern. I have that movie. Okay, it was crap. But I'm a huge Green Lantern fan, and so I watched that movie. His performance in it was terrible. A lot of things were terrible, but he did meet Blake Lively while filming that movie. Okay, I think she was actually with somebody. I have to look that up again. But I think she was actually with somebody, and he most definitely, he was actually married to Scarlett Johansson at the time. But he had an affair with her, and I think she was married also, and she had an affair on her husband too. They fell in love, blah, blah, blah. So they're married today, and they got 4 kids. Okay, and obviously Ryan Reynolds is a big name in Hollywood right now. The last movie he did, Deadpool Wolverine, grossed $1.3 billion. It is the only super profitable superhero movie since Spider-Man No Way Home, which did almost $2 billion. Okay, so $1.3 billion is nothing to shy at, especially when all the superhero movies suck and they're not making any money. They're all flopping left and right. Deadpool Wolverine made $1.3 billion. Okay, so credit where credit is due. All right, that movie made a lot. The only movie that beat Deadpool Wolverine was Inside Out, and that was a fucking kids movie. Okay, and the only reason it did so good is because they took out all the gay stuff. They took it out of there. Okay, and that's why it's a success. All right, so yeah, so we have some pretty big Hollywood heavy hitters involved in this scandal. Okay, but what I'm mostly here to talk about, I'm gonna give you the background of the scandal. We're gonna talk about all that stuff. Okay, but mostly what I want to do is I watched the movie. I watched it. And I got to tell you, I got super upset. It had nothing to do with the scandal. It had everything to do with the message that this movie was portraying, the message that it was giving to the audience. Now, obviously, I'm not the target audience, okay? This movie was made for women. Okay, I get that. All right? But sitting here as a straight fucking man and watching these characters pretend to be straight men in a fucking movie pissed me off. Okay, it's like it did when I reviewed Sex and the City. I reviewed every episode of Sex and the City. Okay, it's on this channel. Look it up if you want. All right. But my biggest problem that I have with chick flicks in general and with Sex and the City and this movie was there's no fucking men in this movie. There's no men. These are caricatures of men. The men don't act like real men. You see what I mean? So if you're gonna make a movie about domestic violence, okay, you've got to make the characters believable. The men, not just the women, but the men too. Okay? You got to be like, oh, so that's why he did it. It's wrong, but that's why he did it. Okay? I spent this whole movie, it ends with us. I spent the whole movie saying no guy would ever do that. Why the hell is he doing that? Why the fuck would he do that? What the hell's going on with this guy? Like, what the hell is this? Okay, the men, and not just one character, all of them, were not believable. They were not believable. Now, I understand the men were not the focus of this movie. Blake Lively's character, Lily Bloom, yeah, how's that for a name? Lily Bloom. There's a guy named Atlas in this movie. Okay, Atlas, get it? Get it? Got the weight of the world on his shoulders. Atlas, okay, yes. This is like fucking 50 Shades of Grey all over again. Okay, Anastasia Steele, shit like that. Okay, the name's just fucking stupid. Okay, even Sex and the City did that. Okay, yeah. So it's just not believable. It's the men don't act like men. Okay, the men don't act like men, and that really bothered me because I think there could have been something here. I think that had a potential. Now, I did not read the book, okay? I know the book was written by a woman named Colleen Hoover, and it came out in 2016. And Justin Baldoni bought the rights to the book. This was his production all the way, okay? He's also the director, okay, and the star of this movie, okay? I get it. But, once again, it's the Nicholas Sparks effect, okay? The men don't act like men. I never read the book. I'm not going to fucking read the book, okay? I just watched the movie. And the men in the movie don't act like men. Okay? So ladies, if you're looking for guys like this, okay, keep fucking looking. You are not going to find them. Okay? And those of you that did find these guys, okay, then you know, just like I know, that they ended up not being what you thought they were going to be. Okay? So, yeah, okay? And so that's what we're going to talk about here, okay? About these, okay? Even me, in my life, okay? I've never hit a woman in my entire life, and I'm very proud of that fact. Okay, but even in my life, okay, I'm going to share some personal experiences here. Okay, I recently had to go through this with my sister, with my brother-in-law and my sister. Okay, so you can tell, you can definitely tell that this movie hit a fucking nerve with me. Okay, with my childhood, like it does with these characters in this movie, and with with my sister. Okay, so so yeah, I got a stake. I got an emotional investment. That's probably why I got so upset watching this movie. Okay. But we got a lot to talk about here. Okay. And if this movie is going to portray domestic violence, I think the way they're trying to do it, you've got to make it more believable. It can't just be one-sided. Okay. You've got to make the characters act like real characters. You got to make the situations be plausible, be realistic. Okay, and this movie doesn't really do that. You just go with it. This movie's all a big go with it. Just go with it. Just go with it. Okay? Okay, if I'm noticing that stuff isn't happening realistically over and over again, then you failed as a storyteller. You have failed. I don't know if it was a script or maybe the book just fucking sucked. I don't know. okay? But it wasn't conveyed here, okay? Now, a lot of women I can understand where a lot of women would watch this movie and be so invested in the main character, Lily Bloom, that they're gonna ignore all the superficial stuff. Like, why did Ryle do that? Okay, well, why did Atlas do that? They're not gonna pay attention. All they're gonna pay, oh my God, I know what that's like. She suffered so much. You don't have to put up with that, girlfriend. You shouldn't have to put up with that at all. You leave his ass. I get that. They're so focused on that part of the story, they're not looking at anything else. Okay, I'm looking at that part of the story, and I'm looking at everything else too. I'm looking at the whole fucking thing. And what I see is shit. Okay? What I see is shit. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about here as I review the movie, all right? Now, real quickly, since I've seen the whole thing, okay, quick breakdown here. I'm going to tell you, this movie pissed me off a lot. I think Blake Lively, the movie did not do well at all in the theaters, at all. Overshadowed by the scandal, okay, but the movie itself isn't very good. I think people watched the movie because they heard about the movie because of the scandal, okay, not because they wanted to see the movie. All right, it's not very good. Okay, I don't believe Justin Baldoni's character, his name is Ryle Kincaid, who is a neurosurgeon. Yeah, he looks like a male model, but he's a neurosurgeon. Okay, and he falls in love with Blake Lively's character, Lily Bloom. Yes, that's her real fucking name. Lily Blossom Bloom. Yes, that's her real name. Get it? She's a delicate flower. She's a flower. You don't mean it's a flower. That's a flower. You admire the flower. You smell the flower. You water the flower. You put the flower in the sunlight. But you don't hurt the flower. You see what I mean? She's literally a fucking flower. And it reminds me of, I wrote a short story in college, okay, in my writing course. All right? And the character's name, the love interest, the girl's name that I wrote in my story, her name was Jennifer Tulip. Okay? Jennifer Tulip. Okay? Why Tulip? Because I couldn't use her real name, okay? Because her real name was, her real name, the last name was a flower, okay? Now, if you've been watching my videos here, the girl I'm talking about right now when I wrote that story was from when I reviewed that movie, My Best Friend's Wedding, okay? That's on this channel too, okay? I reviewed that movie because I had a relationship going on at that time with a girl, okay? And it was connected to when I watched this movie, that movie, My Best Friend's Wedding, okay? Well, that's the girl I'm talking about right now, okay? I wrote a story about her, and I didn't want to use her real name, but her real name, her last name was the name of a particular type of flower. So rather than use that name, her real name in the story, I picked a random flower. I picked Tulip. So I called her Jennifer Tulip in my story, okay? That's the first flower I could think of, right? Well, this movie reminded me of that. Okay, this is a fucking story. This is a fucking manuscript that was turned in by a fucking lesbian fucking undergraduate, okay, in college. All right, that's what this fucking was. All right, this does not display the message, okay, about domestic violence, okay, and also you also got to remember, okay, it's 2025. All right. Okay, it's not the 80s or the 70s, okay, when guys were getting away with this shit, okay? Today, you can't even look at a girl without fucking her pressing charges on you, okay? Much less put your hands on her, okay? So it's a totally different world now, okay? Nobody puts up with this shit. Nobody will allow a man to fucking hit a woman in his presence or anywhere else, okay? Any woman with a black eye or a bruise on her face or something, immediately they're calling the cops and filing a report. Okay, that's what happens today. Okay, there is no sort of grace given to men that do that today. Okay, any guy that does that, even today, okay, is going to face the full wrath of the law, much less the social wrath. Okay, from other men even. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that the benefits do not outweigh the consequences. Okay, So I think most men today, not all men, obviously I'm not speaking for every man, but most men today know that even if you wanted to hit a woman, if you do, okay, like if she hit you first or something, even if you wanted to hit a woman, okay, it's going to be a lot worse for you than it is for her. Okay? Okay, a few seconds of pain for her is a few years of pain for you behind bars, okay, or in lawsuits or whatever, okay. So it's not a good idea. Most men know this, okay, and they don't do it, okay. It's a lot less than it was. Like I remember when I was a kid, okay. I mean, I seen my dad beat up my mom. I've seen it. I watched it, okay. I also am personally connected to this type of stuff, okay. Okay, but back then it was easier to get away with. Okay, back then, cops were more like, "Hey, listen, as long as you don't put her in the hospital, man, that's your wife. I ain't gonna tell you how to run your marriage." That kind of thing. Okay, it was the same thing with child abuse too. When it came to beating up little kids in the '70s and the '80s, no, hell, dude, teachers stayed away from that stuff. That ain't none of my business. How the family wants to raise their kid and how the parents want to raise their kid ain't none of my business. I don't get involved. Okay, it ain't like that anymore. Okay, what I'm saying is that this shit doesn't happen. What does happen today in 2025 is women tend to hit their husbands a hell of a lot more. Women cheat on their husbands a hell of a lot more. Okay, women have sex with underage kids a hell of a lot more than men do. Okay, yet none of these topics that I mentioned are being made into movies. You see what I mean? None of these topics are being talked about anywhere. Oh, there might be a news clip or something for a few seconds, and that's it. Okay? None of these things are being talked about in a broad sense. They're not making movies about stuff like that. Okay? But whenever you have an angry fucking feminist, okay, who wants to play the victim so she can show how empowered she is by overcoming the evil patriarchy, the evil man trying to hold her down, okay, that's the entire fucking female genre right there. Okay? That's every fucking movie. Men bad, women good. Okay? And that's just not realistic. That's not realistic. Hey, neither is fucking Avengers, right? But at least in the Avengers, they don't portray women as all bitches, do they? And men as all fucking good guys, do they? No, they don't. You see what I mean? Not so much in these type of movies. And the only reason fucking there isn't a big outcry about it, okay, the only reason only me and a few other guys even say anything about it is because most guys don't give a fucking shit. We don't care. We're busy doing other things to watch your fucking movies and critique them, okay? I'm doing it. You know why I'm doing it? Because it's fucking fun. I don't have to do this, okay? I do this for fun, okay? And if I see something that I don't agree with, I'm going to fucking say something about it. I give you a straight man's point of view, whether you like it or not. So if you're easily offended, if you're easily triggered, get the fuck out right now. I will not censor myself for you, okay? And this movie, I think, had a lot of potential, but it didn't go where it needed to go. Okay? The main characters, okay, Lily, besides the fucking names, all right? I can understand her part of the movie is that the women are gonna have to relate to her. She was kind of a nerdy girl growing up, okay, and so we do flashbacks about how she met this boy in school who was home. She felt sorry for him. He needed her because he had no place to live. His mom kicked him out of the house, because her boyfriend was beating her up. He tried to stop him and all this shit. And we'll get into all that. Okay. So Lily Bloom's character is she's all about nurturing. She sees this wounded creature and she tries to help him. She falls in love with him. She gives up her virginity to him. Her dad, who is just, seems to treat Lily pretty well, but beats the shit out of Lily's mom. Okay, and she does nothing about it. She can't do anything about it. Okay, he's a grown man, right? Okay, and that bothers her, and it bothers him because that's the situation he's in as well with his mom. Her boyfriend likes to beat her up, and so they bond over that, over dads beating the shit out of their girlfriends and wives. Okay, they're never gonna do that kind of thing. Okay, and so they end up getting together. And the guy, his name's Atlas. Get it? He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's under so much stress. She feels sorry for him. Blah, blah, blah. The dad beats him up too. When he catches him fucking his daughter, his underage daughter. Yeah, I'd probably do the same thing as well. I'm glad I'm not the parent of a fucking girl. And puts him in the hospital, whatever. They don't see each other for a long time, but now it's in the future, and now the girl Lily looks like Blake Lively, and she broke into an apartment building and managed to get to the roof, okay, because her father died, the asshole that beats up her mom, right, but treated her good, and she's supposed to give the eulogy, and she got nothing to say. She got nothing to say about this guy. She wrote a list of 5 things. She didn't fill out any of them. So she basically stands up there and says nothing and leaves. Okay? She had nothing good to say about the man that fucking supported her, that fucking, provided her with a shelter and an education and clothing and food and a college education and all these other things. Okay? Yes, he also beat up her mom too. Okay? But, it's hard for me to believe that he didn't do anything good for her at all. Okay, he didn't beat her up. He beat up her mom and her boyfriend because he caught them fucking. That's why. Okay, so I find it very hard to believe that this guy was a complete psychopath, a complete monster. I think that he was definitely a troubled man who should have gotten help. Okay, and should not have been fucking hitting his wife. I'm not saying that at all. Okay, he should not have been beating his wife at all, no matter what she did. Okay. But I refuse to believe that there was nothing good that his daughter could have said about him. Okay, I'm not gonna believe that because that's not true. That's not true of anyone. All right, fucking even Ted Bundy saved a little girl's life when he was a young man. Okay, so no. Okay, you can't say there's nothing good to say about this guy. Okay, but that's how the movie wants to paint men, strong men. We're all abusers. We all beat the shit out of women, and we like it, and we get away with it. Ha! No, that's not true at all. That's not true. We all fucking know it's not true. But if you're an angry bitch, okay, and you've been cheated on by high-value men because you won't give the average-looking guys a chance, okay, you're going to think that all men suck. And it's going to be easy for you to believe this bullshit feminist lie, okay, that all men, okay, although we know it's only like the top 1% of them, okay, all men cheat and beat up on their women. And they all deserve to suffer for it because of the patriarchy that allows it to happen. That's not true. That's not true, okay? But this movie wants to tap into those women out there that are angry at men, okay? That maybe they lived through this themselves, okay? Or maybe they actually punched their boyfriend and he after the 5th punch, he decided to punch her back and now she's a victim, I've had women try to bait me that way too. But like I said, I never did it. I never hit a woman. Okay, but if the woman just automatically needs an excuse to hate men because she got her heart broken by Alpha Chad, who's fucking these 5 other girls. Okay, she thought that he was in love with her. Okay, not thinking about the 3 or 4 guys that were in love with her that she fucked over for this guy. Okay, not thinking about that part. Okay, you see what I mean? The high value guy fucked her over. That means all men suck. All men are abusers. You see what I mean? That's kind of what this movie taps into, okay? That misandry out there, all right? That all men are shitheads or pieces of shit. The only decent man in this movie, Atlas's character, he's a victim. He's a victim who can't stand up for himself, who needs help by a woman because he can't do it on his own, not without her. You see what I mean? Strong men, bad. Weak men, good. See what I mean? And that's the underlying throughout the entire fucking movie. Throughout the entire movie, that's the underlying message. All right? So anyway, okay. So I'm going to stop my review right here, but that's what's coming. I'm going to talk about this movie. I'm going to break down all the scenes like I always do. And I'm also going to talk about the scandal and see what's going on. All right? So I'm pretty excited about this. Obviously, I get emotional. In this stuff, okay? But we're going to have I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say about this one, all right? Okay, so I will see you soon on the next one. I thank you for watching this long. Bye.